You know, it's amazing. You can build a pretty clever AI agent prototype in just a few minutes these days. But turning that cool little demo into a production-grade system your business can actually depend on, well, that's a whole different ballgame. That's the real challenge. So today, let's break down the playbook for conquering that critical last mile.
This quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of the problem. Anybody can cobble together the code. That's the easy part. The hard part is building up enough trust and operational discipline to let an autonomous system like this run loose in the wild.
Because let's be real, when that trust is misplaced, the consequences can be severe. We're talking about an agent getting tricked into giving away free products, or accidentally exposing sensitive data, or my personal nightmare, racking up a massive, unexpected cloud bill over a single weekend. These aren't just little bugs, these are major business failures.
And this all brings us to what we call the production gap. It's that final, crucial journey from a demo that works on your laptop to a reliable, secure, and scalable system that real users can interact with safely. And believe me, it's the hardest part of the whole journey.
Now check out this statistic, because it's a little mind-blowing. We consistently see that about 80% of the total effort in building an agent isn't spent on its core intelligence, the cool AI stuff. Nope, it's spent on everything else, the plumbing, the guardrails, the security, and all the validation that actually makes it trustworthy.
So, the big question is, how do we build that trust? Well, it starts long before the agent ever goes live. In this pre-production phase, we have to replace all that manual guesswork and just hoping for the best with rock-solid, automated checks that build confidence in the system from the very beginning.
The answer is really an automated CI/CD pipeline that acts kind of like a funnel. So before any new code is even merged, we run a bunch of quick checks, like unit tests, to catch the small, obvious bugs. If it passes that, it moves into a staging environment for more intense testing, like load testing to see how it performs under pressure. And only after clearing all of these gates does it get a final human sign-off for a very controlled release into production.
But look, even that final deployment has to be done carefully. We don't just flip a switch and release it to everyone at once. No way. We might use what's called a canary release, where only 1% of users get the new version at first. Or a blue-green deployment, where we have an identical standby version ready to take over instantly if anything goes wrong. These strategies are all about minimizing risk.
And of course, security. It has to be built in from day one, like a fortress with 3 layers of defense. The inner wall is the agent's constitution, its core system instructions. The middle wall is enforcement, which is all about guardrails, filters, and having a human in the loop. And that outer wall, that's assurance, where you're constantly stress testing your own defenses to find weaknesses before somebody else does.
Okay, deep breath, our agent is live. The challenge now shifts from building it to operating it. And success in production isn't a one-time event. It's not like you just launch and you're done. It's a continuous loop of improvement.
The core discipline for managing a live agent really comes down to this simple but incredibly powerful loop. You observe its behavior, you act to maintain stability in real time, and you evolve it over the long term based on everything you've learned.
So let's break that down. The observe phase is basically the agent's sensory system. It's how you see what it's really doing out there. Through a combination of detailed logs, traces that show the why behind an action, and high-level metrics, you get a full, data-driven picture of its performance. Then, based on those observations, you act. Think of these as the system's immediate automated reflexes. So, if you detect a faulty tool that's causing a ton of errors, an automated circuit breaker can instantly disable it to stop the damage. It's all about real-time containment. And evolve, this is the strategic part of the loop. This is where you take those juicy insights from production, like a common user failure point, and you turn them into permanent improvements. You update the agent, and that same CI/CD pipeline we built for pre-production pushes the fix out safely and quickly. See how it all connects? All right, so we've mastered operating a single agent. But what happens when you have dozens of specialized agents all across an organization? Well, the next frontier is getting them all to work together. Now, to make that happen, we need standardized ways for them to talk to each other. The first is the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. This is for an agent interacting with simple tools like a calculator. Think of it as a direct command. Do this one specific thing. The second is the Agent-to-Agent Protocol, or A2A. This is for delegating complex tasks to another intelligent agent. It's less like a command and more like a request. Hey, can you help me achieve this complex goal? Let's use an auto repair shop to make this really concrete. So a customer describes a problem to a shop manager agent. That's agent-to-agent communication, so it's A to A. The manager then delegates the job to a specialist mechanic agent, also A to A. The mechanic then uses a simple diagnostic scanner tool, that's a direct command, an MCP call. And finally, the mechanic talks to an external supplier agent to order a part, which is another A to A conversation. This just shows how these simple tasks and complex delegations can work together seamlessly.
So, let's zoom out and put all these pieces together. From that first little prototype on a developer's machine to a whole collaborative ecosystem of agents, it all forms a single integrated lifecycle.
The journey starts in what we call the developer's inner loop, with rapid prototyping. From there, it enters the pre-production engine, where all those automated gates ensure quality. It's then released into production using those safe rollouts we talked about, which is where observability kicks in to fuel that continuous evolution loop, making the agent smarter with every single interaction.
And why? Why do we go through all this trouble? Because the real payoff of a mature agent ops practice is one thing: velocity. When this entire lifecycle is automated, teams can deploy meaningful improvements in hours, not weeks or months. You end up creating products that are just constantly getting better.
So, what should you do next? Well, if you're just starting out, focus on the fundamentals. Build an evaluation data set, set up a basic CI/CD pipeline, and get your monitoring in place. If you're already scaling, it's time to really automate that feedback loop and standardize on protocols like A to A to build a true ecosystem.
Which brings us to our final thought. You've built your agent, and I'm sure it's clever, but is it truly ready for that last, hardest mile into production? Is it trustworthy? That's the question that Agent Ops is designed to help you answer with confidence.